Hey everyone, Mr. Montgomery again. Today we are on page 233. So let me write nice and big. 233. That is 233. And it's going to be lesson 5-6. So if you're not on this page in your Robot Turtle book, go ahead, grab it, and then come back and hit play. Alright, oh, I almost forgot. Make sure you pause the video before you go get your book. Alright, you don't want it playing while you're not sitting there. Okay, but if you're already on page 233, we're going to get started. Okay, so today we're going to be working with some story problems, and we might have to figure out if we need to add or subtract. But since we know fact families, it really doesn't matter which way you choose to do it, as long as the numbers are in the right spots. Because if you think it might be subtraction, just make sure those numbers are in the correct spaces. If there is a super large number, make sure that's first in any subtraction problem, and the smaller number could be literally anywhere else. Just can't be the first one, okay? And same thing with addition. Make sure that biggest number, if you know that there is a biggest number, make sure that is at the end. Okay, so let's read it, and as we read, we are going to circle all the important stuff, which is numbers, and of course, one or two important words. So let's start reading. Jose has 5 more erasers than Lois. And of course that number 5 is very, very special. We gotta circle it. And that word more is usually a nice little hint that they like to leave for us in story problems. Jose has 7 erasers. Yeah, and that is also very special. How many erasers does Lois have? Write your answers below. Now, I will show you guys 2 different ways we can solve this. Let me start with the one that you might think of first, because of certain clues, like this word more, that usually means addition. So before we start writing who's got what number in each box here, because we have a box for Jose's erasers and we have a box for Lois's erasers. We know what Jose has, right? We know he has 7. We have no idea what Lois has. So one way we could solve this is by making an addition sentence. And we know that there is a biggest number in this, which is Jose's erasers. He has the most amount, and we know that he even has 5 more. So he's got quite a few erasers. So if we were to set this up as an addition problem, because we can, the 7 would go at the end because it's the biggest number. Because we know that Lois has much less, right? And so any number other than 7 will it has to be smaller. It has to be, because Lois doesn't have that many. She has 5 less, and we know that the difference is 5. Okay, we can put this 5 anywhere. You can put it in the first spot or second spot. That is totally your preference. And then the last step is just to find out how many jumps from 5 to 7. Because remember, if you guys remember my whole spiel, this first number is always our start number. If we're using a number line, that is. The last number is always the end number. It's where we end up. And this middle number here is our jumps. How many jumps does it take? And we have no idea how many jumps. You can use a number line. You can use your fingers. You can use any method that works. To me personally, it doesn't matter how you solve it, as long as you're using one of the methods that's taught to you and it works and you get it and it just makes sense to you. That is the most important thing. But some teachers might disagree with me. But, you know, if you're in my class, use what works for you and you stick to it. Now, if we had a little number line, which I can make a little number line right here. Doesn't have to be anything special. I have 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And all I'm going to do is count my jumps from 5 to 7, right? So I make a dot on 5. And I just count, and I know I end on 7, so I put a dot there. That's just what I like to do. And I count my jumps. 1, 2. So the answer is 2. Now there is another way we could set this up. If you, maybe you saw the problem set up like this and you go, oh my gosh, this is going to give me, it's going to make me so nervous. I really don't like problems like this. They make me feel very, very worried and frustrated, and I just really don't like them. If you don't like problems like this, after you set it up, you can always rearrange it into a subtraction problem. You don't believe me, do you? Let me show you. Remember, they all have related facts. If you have one addition problem, it has 2 other subtraction problems that are related. So we absolutely can. But just remember that when we set up a subtraction problem, this big number has to go first. So it'd be 7 minus something equals blank. We don't know what that answer is, but we use 7, check. Did we use our 5 yet? No, we didn't. It has to go next. And so we used our 5, check. So now you might be thinking to yourself, this looks a lot more friendly. I like this problem. 7 minus 5. I really like it. It's very straightforward. I don't have to worry about counting jumps and all this other stuff, and you just do a regular subtraction problem. And it would be the same thing. Start at 7. And if you took 5 jumps, let's see, 3. I know it's getting hard to see because I'm writing on the girl's face. But I promise you, you will get the same answer. I'll just erase these little jumps here and check this out. All right, ready? Take 5 jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know it's hard to see right here, but I did land on a 2. Trying to make it a little bit more bold. And you get the same answer. No matter which way you decide to solve it, you will get the same answer. So how many erasers does Lotus have? Well, we just found it 2 different ways. Just 2 erasers. Okay? Now remember, I was just showing you guys this second way down here. Just in case, because I know some friends really don't like that missing middle number, and it can really throw off some friends. So just remember, there's always a related fact you can use instead. Let's go ahead to the next page, page 234. Alright, here's page 234. Now, I know number 1's already done for you, but they don't explain anything, and that just drives me bananas when they give you an answer with no real explanation as to, how they got that answer. It's kind of a big deal. It's super important. So, as always, I erase it so you can understand how they got that answer. Okay? Now you can see that they have a part-whole chart. So this first part, or first square, this is a part. So it's going to be a smaller number. This little square over here is another part, which means it's a smaller number. And then this huge rectangle is always the whole number, or we sometimes call it the, I'll put a little slash here. I like to call it the total. So we have a small number, and then the big number, right? So let's read this little story problem that they have and find out, why they got the answer that they did. Sal has 8, that's important, that number 8, more magazines than Gemma. And this word more, it's always going to be super special, always. All right? Sal has 15 magazines. And that 15 is going to be special. How many magazines does Gemma have? Ooh, that's a tough one. So we know that they made this chart for us. We know that Sal has 15, right? They're right up there. Gemma, we don't know how many she has, but we know that Sal, he's got 8 more. He's got 8 more than her. So, they give us a big hint down here. This is going to be a plus sign problem. So we're going to be adding, which means we have to know where we put our numbers. So where are we going to put our big total number in an addition sentence? Does it go first, middle, or last? Well, as soon as you see that plus sign, that 15 has to go at the very end as the answer, right? After you add them. And we know that there's 8 more. So we can put 8 down here, because that is a part. Doesn't matter which space it goes in, because we can add in any order. And then we just need to figure out what gamma has, which is, oh man, it can be a little tough. But if we have a number line, which I will make right now. Alright, so now we have our number line. We're all set to go. And to find that missing number, right, we already have our start number. Just like we talked about on the last problem, we have our ending number. What are we missing? What does this middle number do? It counts the jumps. Counts those jumps that we need. So we can put a dot on, you know what, let me change colors real quick, make it stand out. We can put a dot on 8 or a finger on 8, and you can put a dot or finger on 15, and then just move one of them over and count the jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that missing number is 7. That's how they got it. So in this box we would put a 7, and also in this missing spot. So now we know that Gemma has 7 magazines. And before we go on, I do want to practice this problem with you guys. This will convince me. They've been giving us some good problems in here lately. So whenever they do, I like to take advantage of it and really dive in and get some extra practice in. So let's go ahead and read this, and we are going to circle all the important stuff, just like always. Tom made 8 fewer sandcastles than Tina. That number 8, of course, is pretty special. Tina made 10 sandcastles. And that 10 is very special too. How many sandcastles did Tom make? Oof. So we know Tom made 8 fewer. Do you hear a special word in this first sentence that could tell us if we're going to be using a plus sign or a minus sign? Let's read it. I want you to, after I read it, I want you to point to either the plus sign or the minus sign and see if we're correct here. Tom made 8 fewer sandcastles than Tina. So what does it sound like? You think after hearing that sentence we're going to be using a plus sign and make it a big number, or are we going to use a minus sign and take away? So what we're going to do is we're going to use a minus sign for this one because of this special word fewer. If you guys remember the chart that's in my room, my classroom, of all of the special words that we find in story problems, we have words like add, subtract, less than, altogether, and fewer was one of them too. So whenever you see the word fewer, it means you're taking away, you're going to get a very small number. So we can set that up. Put a blank, a minus sign, blank, an equal sign, and then our answer spot. So if we're subtracting, which number is going first? The 8 or the 10? Which one do you think? Go ahead and write it down. Which number needs to go first? The 8 or the 10? Alright, did you pick one? I'm really hoping you guys pick the 10 to go first, because it's the biggest one. 10 is the biggest number right here, so it has to go first in our subtraction sentence. Alright. But what about this 8? What do we do with it? Where is that going to go? So I'll put a little check mark next to the 10, so we know we used it. But this 8 is going to go in this middle spot or at the end. Now, what I would do, this is my recommendation, is that you put it in the middle spot, the second space, because now it just looks like a regular subtraction problem. I mean, could you put it over here and then, you know, instead of doing it like a regular subtraction problem, you just find that jump number again? Sure you could. But is it really going to, you know, be the end of the world if you do that, or you just choose to make it look like a regular subtraction problem? No. And why would you not do this anyway? I think this makes it look nice and easy. And we know how to subtract. Right, so go ahead and subtract 10 minus 8 and find that number. Alright, you guys should have been able to blast right through this problem. Let's go over it. But of course, if you don't have the answer yet, and you're still working, pause the video. That's why there's a video here, so you can pause it whenever you need to. So we just make a dot on 10, because that's our start number. And then we make 8 jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And land on 2. So our answer is 2. So how many books, or I'm sorry, sandcastles, I was thinking about, one of these other magazine problems. How many sandcastles did Tom make? He only made 2. That was it. Okay, so let's go on to the next page, page 235, and let's see what's going on over there. All right, guys, so we will do number 2 together. This will be the last one, though, and then after we finish this, I'll read all these other problems to you so you can circle all the important stuff that's in there in case you're having trouble reading it, and then you can solve it on your own. Okay, but let's read number 2 first and figure out what's going on here. So Alan picks up 3 toys. That 3 is special. Then he picks up 8 more. Well, that 8 is special too. And did you just hear a word that's pretty special? I know I did. It's that word more. That word more is usually a little hint that we might be using some addition. How many toys did Alan pick up in all? Wait, did you just hear some other special words in that last sentence? I totally did too. It's these words in all. And they're also on our math chart in the classroom. Now, when we see the words in all, that means we absolutely have to use an addition sign. We are going to be using a plus sign, and we're going to be making a big number. But these people were so nice when they made this book that they're showing us that in a part whole chart, remember that this side is a small part. This other side is a small part. And at the tippy top is always our total. Always. So, how would you set up this problem? Blank plus blank equals blank. What number would you put first? Okay, and then what would you do with the other number? Would you put it second, or is it the answer? All right, did you give it a try and see if you set it up the right way? All right, let's check. All right, since we are adding and we don't have anything in this total box, right? The box where the total goes, the whole number. That means we don't have anything after the equal sign. So this last space should be left blank. We don't know it. But we have the 2 small parts, and they can go in any order. You can either put 3 plus 8, or you could actually write 8 plus 3. It doesn't matter which one you want to do, because you can add in any order. So go ahead and solve on your own 8 plus 3. Okay, you guys should actually be done by now. I was giving you a little extra time since I was making a little part of a number line up here. Alright, and let's see if your answer is correct. Let's check our work. But now, if you're still working, take your time. Pause the video. There's no rush. Alright, but if you are done, let's check your work. So 8 is our first number. Put that on 8. And now I need to make 3 jumps. 1, 2, 3. And land on 11. So 8 plus 3 is 11. And that's it. So our total number is 11. Alright. Now, I'm going to read number 3 very slowly. So that way you can circle all the important stuff you hear. Okay, so you can try solving this on your own. After that, I will read number 4 very slowly again so you can circle the important stuff. And then number 5 as well. Alright, so I'm going to start by reading number 3. Jack makes 5 fewer fruit cups than Sandy. Ooh, and I did hear a special word in that first sentence too. I really hope you were paying attention to it. All right. Sandy makes 11 fruit cups. How many fruit cups did Jack make? All right. Let's read number 4 now. I'm going to read slow so you can circle all the important stuff. Harry has 5 fewer buttons than Tina. Harry has 7 buttons. How many buttons does Tina have? Just remember, Harry has 7 buttons. And Tina kind of has 5 more. Hint, hint. Alright, and now let's set up number 5. I'm going to read it for you. Circle all the important stuff you hear. Mark calls some people. Jane calls 8 people. They called 17 people in all. How many people did Mark call? Alright, so give those 3 a try, guys. If you're really stuck and really confused, let me know. I'll try to help you the best I can without giving away the answer. I never want to give away the answer. I want to make sure you guys are always trying to get through this stuff on your own and do the best you can. Alright, but hopefully this helps a little bit, guys. I know that story problems can be very confusing and very tough sometimes, but keep trying. Don't give up. It just takes practice. Even adults have trouble with story problems. And I'm not even joking. All adults still have problems with this stuff, guys. Alright, so I'll see you guys next time, and I hope you have a great day.